video talking about some of the rulings. Someone made this comment. They think that, yes, there are different opinions and everyone should do the research regarding to see what is the strongest one according to the Sunnah. And this is a concept which has some good in it and also has some issues. As far as the second part of the thought here, he said, as one doesn't know what school speaker adheres to. Actually, on all of my websites and whatnot, I always put Shafi'i so that nobody is in confusion about this. And I don't like the fact that many times people will not say anything about what school they adhere to, and this actually brings confusion. It's much better that somebody says, I'm Hanbali, or in general, I'm Shafi'i. Even if they're not completely this on every issue, at least we know where they're coming from, we know what their basis is, as opposed to someone who doesn't say anything. I remember as a new Muslim, I would read books, and at the end of the book, I would try to figure out what school is this. And ultimately, I couldn't find anything about this. I couldn't even figure out who is the person, and this is the issue. Someone should be clear about where they're coming from, and that's why I put on all of my descriptions, I always put Shafi'i, so that people know where I'm coming from in a general sense. Going back to the first part, not everybody is able to do tarjīḥ. Tarjīḥ is when you look at the different evidences and you decide which is stronger. And for someone to be able to reach this level, they must know Arabic, at the very least. They must also know nahu, to a level of at least like around al-fiqh. And they also must learn sarf, and also balagha, and also uṣūl al-fiqh to a decent level, to be able to start to do tarjīḥ. So to say to an average layperson in English, to say that they have to then go out there and do tarjīḥ to see what's the closest to the Sunnah, this is taklif bima la yutaq, encumbering someone to do something with something that is above their ability. And for a layperson, all that a layperson needs to do is they need to see someone that is knowledgeable. They hear someone who's knowledgeable and trustworthy in their deen, and then they can follow his opinion. Of course, if it's an opinion that's straight up from a madhhab, then in this case they know they're not just taking from one person, they're taking from a whole group of people that followed the imam and built their aqwal, or their statements, all and their views on the foundations of that imam. And so this, without a doubt, is something that someone, if they take from a madhhab, then of course they're taking from a trustworthy source. But to say that someone has to go in and look to see what's the strongest thing according to the Sunnah, this would only apply to someone who has the ability to do this. If they don't have the ability, then it's not obligatory for them. Actually, it's haram if they don't have the ability to try to make tarjīḥ. It's haram to do this, as Ibn Rajab, he brings up, that for the layperson, they're not allowed to do tarjīḥ. They're not allowed to do ijtihād because they're not qualified for it. So all they need to do is they need to take the view of someone who is trustworthy.